Believe it or not, this is a new Ford F-150. Okay, it's not entirely new, but it is a refreshed version of the truck that Ford introduced just a few years ago, because more often than not, if it ain't broke, then there's no point in fixing it. For more expert car reviews, don't forget to share our channel and subscribe so you can catch some of this and maybe even a little of that. So what exactly is new about this F-150? Well, a few touches here and there, although they are pretty subtle. But once you notice them, you will be able to distinguish this version from the one that came before it. Starts with the front end. You've got this new grille as well as some new headlights that, in my opinion, look a little more refined than the ones before it. Plus, there are some LED taillights around back. And then the other thing that's new is this one that I'm driving, at least sort of. This is the F-150 STX, which you used to be able to buy, but now it is a dedicated trim, whereas before it was a package that could be added to the base XL. That also means there are like 8 or 9 different versions of the F-150, and that doesn't factor in all the different configurations and powertrains that you can get as well. So there are quite a few different ways you can get your Ford half-ton. This one I'm driving has the upgraded 3.5 liter EcoBoost V6. Now, it also has 4-wheel drive because that's the only configuration available with this engine, with this trim. If for whatever reason you want this trim with rear-wheel drive, you're gonna have to go with the 2.7 liter V6 or the 5 liter V8. Now, you can also get this engine with some hybrid components, but only in more expensive trims, starting with the next step up, which is the XLT. You can't get it with this version that I'm driving, but on its own, it makes 400 horsepower and 500 pound-feet of torque, and that is a ton of pulling power. I also like the way it performs. Now, I do want to throw this out there because a lot of people are triggered by that word EcoBoost for a few different reasons, one of them being reliability concerns, and I hear you. I have heard it. I've had friends that have had EcoBoost powered pickup trucks and they've had problems, but keep in mind, I am test driving a brand new vehicle and I only have it for a week. I haven't run into any reliability issues this week, so I can't really comment on those. Yes, I've seen some issues. Beware, do some research, check the recall database, but I can't comment on them because I haven't experienced them myself. What I have experienced is the sheer exhilaration that this engine can provide when you bury your foot into it. It is one of the sort of charms of this truck, and I absolutely love the way you can hear the turbos spool up when you get your foot into it. It's just a nice touch, and it really sets it apart from the 5 liter V8 or the 5.4 liter that you used to get in the F-150. Now, if you are keeping score at home, that new twin turbocharged straight 6 that you can get in the Ram 1500 makes a little more horsepower, but a little less torque than this thing. But that's not my issue. My issue is that it isn't all that efficient, or as I like to say, it's a lot more boost than it is eco. Just take a look at the highway number. This thing is rated for 12.3 liters per 100 kilometers on the highway, which is barely better than that 5 liter V8. And if the whole point of downsizing is to have a more efficient truck, well, this ain't doing it. Now, I also want to say, I really don't think anyone's buying a pickup truck because they want something especially efficient, but considering how popular these things are, I really would like to see this thing do just a little bit better. Because earlier this week I was doing better, but that was after a lot of highway driving. Now that I've mixed in a bunch of city as well as country driving during this shoot in particular, the number has already creeped up I am burning more than 12.5 liters per 100 kilometers, and I still have a few days left on this loan. So it just goes to show you that this thing isn't the most efficient. And the other thing to consider, I've been driving in rear-wheel drive virtually this entire week. If I were to switch it into four-wheel drive using the electronic transfer case controls here, well, that number would clearly get even bigger. Okay, it's like I talked about off the top, the changes are subtle, but I like them. I also like the move to the STX as a trim as opposed to a package because it means it can be combined with the FX4 off-road kit. Although if beggars can be choosers, I would prefer the STX's painted bumpers. Yes, I know that's a minor grievance. I just like the look better, although these are the better option if you plan to put these off-road goodies to use. Anyway, I also want to give Ford a shout out for something that doesn't get talked about enough, and that is these front windowsills. The way they taper downwards means the door mirrors are mounted lower, and that means better outward visibility. Ford has been doing this for about 20 years now. I liked it from day one, and I still like it today. Now, those are just a few of the touches that stand out for me outside, but there are plenty more in here, starting with the storage. There are more cubbies in here than you get in an IKEA showroom, and it is excellent because that, to me, is what a pickup truck is all about. These things are supposed to be practical, useful, whether it's for family life or for work. You want places to put your stuff, and there are shelves, cubbies, and pockets everywhere you look. This one I'm driving also has this fold-out work surface that I think is such a clever touch. Yes, it's a bit expensive. It's something like $765 in this version that I'm driving, but to me, it's well worth it, especially in the grand scheme of monthly payments on a pickup like this one, because it means that you can just fold this out and then you've got a place to work, you've got a place to eat your lunch, whatever you need to do. That is super cool. Something else I love, this column mounted shifter, so old school. My old F-150, I used to drive a 2002 F-150 that I really did love, and it also had a column shifter like this one. And I just think it is such a classic touch. The other classic touch in here that you might not like so much, it has a physical key. Now, don't get me wrong, I see the merits, especially given auto theft rates these days, but it is a bit of a pain, especially if you're coming out of something that has push button start. And don't forget, this thing ain't cheap, so the fact that you have to take that fob out of your pocket, flip open that key, and stick it into the ignition, well, it is an extra step at a time that we've all gotten used to just leaving that key fob in our pocket and hitting a button. There's also a ton of physical buttons and dials in here for just about everything. You've got a full complement of climate controls as well as audio ones, a bunch of buttons on the steering wheel. That is great. This touchscreen, it's huge, it's 12 inches, it's super bright. It's also very straightforward. And then one of the other kind of add-ons this year is the fact that this 12-inch screen in the instrument display, that is now standard across the lineup as well. That applies to this version as well as that base XL. But something that's missing in here that I just can't get over, no heated front seats. This thing starts at about $65,000 before freight and tax, and you don't get butt warmers. And Ford's logic sort of makes sense because the base truck doesn't come with them. You've always had to move up to the XLT trim in order to get them. So that's still the case now. And even then, they aren't standard. But beyond that, it just doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me that Ford is going to nickel and dime like that, force you to move into a much more expensive truck to get something that's pretty essential these days. And the other thing to consider is that Ford has given you built-in navigation because it's affordable to Ford. But it's not the desirable feature that Ford thinks it is. I'm telling you right now, if you were to poll the average Canadian, they would tell you they would prefer heated seats over built-in navigation, especially because this thing has standard wireless Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, which means you can hook up to Google Maps or Waze or Apple Maps if you're some sort of weirdo. So why would you want to rely on this navigation system? Get rid of this. Give me heated seats. That is my biggest sticking point in this pickup truck. Now, the same sort of approach applies to the advanced safety features. You've got blind spot monitoring, lane departure warning and keeping assistance, forward collision warning, automatic emergency braking, even post-collision braking. But if you want adaptive cruise control or Ford's Blue Cruise, well, you're gonna have to step up to a more expensive truck. But honestly, that doesn't bother me as much as the lack of heated seats, especially in this market. To recap, I like the subtle styling tweaks this year, all the torque you get with this optional engine, and the clever cubbies inside the Ford F-150. I don't like that you can't get heated seats at this price point, that this engine is more boost than eco, or how expensive it is with or without discounts. Now for my favorite part of every pickup review, pricing. And every time I talk about how much is being charged for whatever truck I'm testing, someone jumps in to tell me that no one's actually paying that much for their truck. But here's the thing, there are a bunch of points throughout the year where there just aren't any discounts available. And they also fluctuate from region to region and month to month. So all I can talk about is sticker price, and that is $72,000 before tax for this one that I am driving. Now, as we film this video, Ford's offering about $8,000 off an exact build like this one, which is pretty generous, but that also means you're still paying $64,000 for a truck that doesn't even have heated seats. The choice is yours, but your butt's been officially warned.